hard to convince, but it is the work of the politicians. And I don't talk about parties. I talk about an idea that all people who are responsible for this country think how to develop the country better than they did maybe the last years. And it is not about left, right, center, or whatever. And it is not about like spending money for projects because you're really keen on one project in your area as local politicians. It's about getting all politicians on one table and have a look where you are and develop and to take it serious at what you mentioned. That people do nowadays, young students, and we have a very well working surplus program at CAS here in Romania. Of course, a lot of our actual students and from our alumni, it's easy for them to leave the country. Maybe they come back, maybe not. Of course, I like to see them again here. So going abroad, study, take a lot of knowledge, and better the civil society here, better maybe the behavior in companies a little bit, or bring in their new spirit. This is not easy for politicians to work against this wave when we're talking about brain drain, about the people with the young academics. You mentioned also the problem of young doctors. One of the biggest problems for the healthcare system.
We have thousands of doctors going out of the country.
Yeah. And this is, but sorry, in Germany, in Germany, it's a little bit the same. It's not maybe this much, but also the German doctors are escaping to other countries. Yeah, this stopped now a little bit because doctors are really asked in Germany. But the last years we had also the movement to Switzerland, to Sweden, Norway, and so on, because the payment was better and the social system was better. So when you're a young mother and a doctor, you only worked 8 hours a day or maybe less, and there was a kindergarten, there was a proper school, a daycare for the children. And of course it's the same problem all over, because you find in other countries sometimes better circumstances, and nowadays it's normal to move as a high profession.
I can understand that it's the politicians' responsibility to find solutions, but many of them are focused only on their national elections, on their chairs. So it's very difficult to have a common vision, and an European one anyway, for solving problems like migration inside the European Union, which I don't think it's properly to talk about, at least when we talk about the liberty of movement. So it's very difficult to find the right approach.
But again, from my point of view, it starts again with education. When we don't change education in schools and university, when we still see that old books are used from times long ago, what is the approach? So it is about changing the mindset of people who are teachers, professors, and bringing up a fresh new mindset for the students. This is important. It starts with education and the willingness of all political classes really not only make talk, blah, 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 just really take action and willing to invest in education. Not maybe in the secret service system like it just happened in Romania, that the budget for secret service was raised and for education was lowered. This shows everyone in Romania, for example, and when I talk with my students, they don't understand. This is a key factor. Education is a key factor and asset for the next generation. And from there on, everything starts. And when we don't put the money, European funds, into education, this development that you described will continue. And this will cause us a lot of questions, starting from tax payments and so on and so on.
Well, it's very interesting that what you say, we are talking about the same problems that usually the European politicians are talking about. But they don't talk many times about such a solution like education. They are talking about take away your Romanian people, we pay for that, and go back in your country, which is not talking about education from my point of view.
No, of course not. But sending people simply back, put them on the plane, give them 300 euro for the next month, and then they will be again in your backyard, is not a solution from my point of view. It might be good for the moment, it might be good for the elections, but it's not solving one problem. And this is what we have to talk about in Europe to solve really the problem. Everyone knows the symptoms, but we really have to solve the problem, and it starts again with simple things. It belongs to a well-educated civil society, and a civil society that is able to speak with politicians about problems, and that the civil society is able to raise money for problems and solve them by themselves. Regionalization is a very, very important topic, subsidiarity. And unfortunately, from my point of view, again, it is not easy to develop a system like we have it in Germany, a federal system. Yeah? But the talk must be allowed. There must be a development. There must be a dialogue with civil society. Because subsidiarity is very, very important. Because no one here in Bucharest really can judge, from my point of view, what is happening in the Rayon somewhere else, 300, 400 kilometers away, a day trip. So the people there must take the decision. They must be responsible for the action in this area. And this helps to be the people proud of what they are doing, and not like having someone telling them, oh, now you have to do it. And I think in this case, Germany is really good developed, not perfect, but again, it's about learning from each other in Europe. And I think there could be done a lot of more things.
Okay.
Da, cât mai avem?
Câteva secunde, final. Mulțumesc.
Okay, so thank you very much for this interview, and I hope to see each other again and maybe to celebrate some progress in this field at least.
Next year we have 15 years of CAS in Romania, so I invite you to join us there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Super.